Hey everyone, welcome to another day of building the flight booking engine. I'm Nehemiah. Over the past over 80 days, many days, the number of things I've been doing to this project. And today I'm moving one more step to share with you something which is very important. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, I'm now working towards production, and the project has actually picked up a pace in production. One of the things I've done in production is to apply for production environment for payment. Why? Because my account has a limit of $10. So I applied to the company to allow me to transact any amount of money, and I had to submit several documents. The other thing I did was to apply to Amadeus Enterprise to allow me have their enterprise API so that I can have real flight data. And then the next thing is to have a real database. Okay, of course, the database we have on EC2 is a real database, but it carries some risks. Okay, number one risk is that in the event that the EC2 instance is terminated, it will ensure that our data is also lost. So that becomes a very big security issue. Okay, so we lose our data, not security issue, but okay, it's mainly a data durability issue, okay, and integrity. It can cause a lot of trouble. So I got rid of that, but kept it for development. And I'm going to show you. Maybe let me first go to the code base and share with you that. So if we go to the code base and I go to the compose.yaml, you will see that for the section of the DB, let me make this bigger. In the section for the database, I changed a number of things. Okay, look at this. Okay, number one, I've changed to Postgres 17, but also for the profiles, I have a profile here called local. Okay, this database or this service called DB will only be executed when I include the profile local. What do I mean? Okay, if I go to my terminal, okay, I have to go to cd backend, and I'll have to say docker compose, okay, app. Okay, most times I would simply do this and it was okay, but now I have to do something like minus profiles. So profiles refers to this, okay, this part, this profile, okay, minus profiles, okay, and I specify local. Okay, profiles equals to local for us to use this database. Okay, but if I don't specify the profile being local, this database will be ignored. Okay, to test it up, let me close this. Okay, clear the terminal and say docker compose app. Notice that I am not including let me cancel that. I want it to run in a detached mode, so, or in background. So I'll say, let's give it a few moments. And okay, I'll say compose, I'll say docker compose app -d. Okay, so you're going to see that this Postgres 17 database does not work, okay, or is not spun up, it's not running. And that is because of what I'm going to use in production. Okay, if you look at what I'm preparing for production, the first step to go to production or the staging area is that I'm using a Postgres 17. Okay, right now it may not show you here, but you're going to see it very soon. Okay, let's first go back to the code here. So that is done. If I say docker ps, not os but docker ps, okay, and I expand this, you're going to see something interesting. Do you see we have Kafka UI, we have the prompt tail, we have Grafana, we have Loki, we have Redis, we have Kafka again, CP, okay, we have Prometheus, okay, Minikube, but no database. Okay, do you notice that? There is no database. This is very, very important. So because there's no database, our stuff, okay, our application has no database. Why? Because of excluding, okay? I didn't mention the profile local. So that is very, very important. Now, in development, in case you need this database, please include it, okay? But right now in staging and production, I'm not going to use it. To prepare for the production database, I added an environment variable called database URL, okay, which is equals to database URL, a variable, and this will be passed on from the environment variables. So just make sure, like always, in your .env, you have the database URL, and also when you go to GitHub, I say database URL, okay, you can see I updated it about 3 hours ago. It also has to be updated with the value. What is that value? Okay, it comes from Neon. Okay, I wanted to use AWS RDS, but I have few credits. Okay, I have about 100 credits, and my credits can easily be consumed if I use the Amazon RDS, okay, which is Amazon Relational Database. So because I have few credits on AWS, I chose to use NeonDB. Okay, later when I get paying customers, I can migrate to Amazon RDS. Okay, it's way better. Okay, and it will help me in such a way that communication will be faster, because the server, okay, the application which is running on EC2 will be on the same internal network with the database. But right now there has to be some kind of latency, because the database, okay, and the what is it called, the server is in a different location. Okay, so that's why I went for Neon. Another thing I changed, okay, if you go to our Terraform, if you go to Terraform main.tf, okay, if you look at, there's an interesting line, or is it, I'm looking for it, this line here, okay, line 54, okay, says, and 55, okay, we get an Amazon AMI, okay, and we are saying most recent equals to true. As long as most recent is equals to true is configured, every time a new AMI is produced, okay, we get an issue. What issue is that? Is that our Terraform configuration will be forced, okay? Terraform will be forced to create a new Amazon machine image, which will mean our server or EC2 instance is destroyed and recreated. Okay. Now render home. Hi. Thank you for joining today's stream. I am fine. I'm doing okay. Where are you watching from, Narendra? I hope I've pronounced your name well. I'm doing great, doing great. I hope you're doing great too. So I'll explain this again, okay? Because of this most recent equals to true configuration, every time there is a new Amazon machine image or AMI, okay, we shall be forced, okay, to delete the EC2 server, okay. Why the EC2 server? Because our EC2 is being configured using Terraform, okay. Narendra says, why are people not using Google Anti-Gravity? I do not know. I think it's a matter of choice and preference. I am going to tell you something. I've been using anti-gravity for a long time, which is I think this editor. Yes, this is anti-gravity. But okay, after 24th of this month, it's the 23rd, I am going to switch to VS Code. And I'm going to use VS Code with the Claude plugin or extension because I've seen a few things. Anti-gravity has gone a little bit down in its performance and its restriction of the tokens. Okay. Even if I've tried to optimize it, I have lost several tokens. You get. You say you will get free agents. Really? Really? Let me show you. This is my anti-gravity. Okay. And I tried to set up agents, but I failed to get free agents. Please let me know about that. Is it something new? Okay. This way I love interacting with people in live streams. How do you get free agents with anti-gravity? Of course, I know at some point with anti-gravity you have, okay, like right now you see my Claude Sonnet 4.6, Opus, GPT have been used up, okay? I'm now relying on Gemini 3.1 Pro, Gemini 3.1 Pro Low, and Gemini 3 Flash, okay? At some point also 3 Pro is like blocked or my token limit reaches and I have only 3 Flash to use. But the performance of 3 Pro is kind of sketchy, okay? It only maybe helps me sometimes on the user interfaces. But for backend, I've found Opus 4.6 to work better. And also in VS Code, I have seen that when you set up agents, okay, and skills in VS Code, you have better performance. How do you have better performance? There is a way when you avoid what they call context poisoning, okay, using agents in VS Code, you have what is it called? You have better consumption of the tokens. So your tokens are not overused. Okay. But that is in VS Code. Okay. And I have a friend also who has been using Claude in VS Code and has been getting a different experience. Yeah. But yeah, let me know how to get those free agents in anti-gravity. But Gemini 3 Flash remains the default after your tokens are expired and you have to pay more. Okay. And I'm not willing to pay more because I'm not seeing the value. But I've been using anti-gravity for like 4 months. Yeah. But I'm moving back to VS Code with Claude. Yeah. And of course, Claude Code is something that is big that I might try to look at. Yeah, but that's my experience. I'm at day 26 now. Oh, that's nice. Same project you're doing. Nice. Most of the people who follow me on this channel are from India, and I find it very, very humbling. I told a few people earlier that when I began live streaming, I thought YouTube would show this stuff to people who come from where I am, but I was very surprised in a very, very nice way that it's actually from you guys in India. Yeah, actually 90%, between 80 to 90% of people who watch my stuff are from India, which is very, very humbling. Narendra, are you a backend developer, full stack developer, data scientist, machine learning engineer, mobile engineer? What is what's your role in tech? Narendra says if agents reached limit, you change other agents. Yeah, true, you change. My only challenge with anti-gravity is that the limit is reached very quickly. Okay. I've tried to optimize by doing several things, but it's reached very early, okay, compared to VS Code. All right, so let's carry on. Okay, I'll be back. Just give me a minute. All right, let's continue. Okay, Narendra says they are a front-end developer. Awesome. That's very nice. What is your tech stack for front-end? Do you use Next.js or React, Vue.js, Solid? Okay, there's so many things in front-end. Is it Astro? Is it, I don't know. There's probably a front-end framework which I am not aware about. Okay. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Narendra. Thank you for being an active participant. So I was saying, because of this configuration most recent equals to true, AWS, okay, not AWS, but Terraform will recreate our machine. Okay. We'll recreate our machine. And because our database, which has always been in Docker, okay, like I showed you, will also be destroyed because that database lives on the EC2 server. Okay, so every time Amazon releases a new AMI, our instance is recreated, and recreating it means the old one is destroyed, and destroying it means our database is destroyed. Okay, that is the disadvantage you get. Now, to solve it, I came down here, okay, and added new configuration saying lifecycle. Okay, ignore changes equals to AMI. This means as long as we have, okay, as long as we have our EC2 server on AWS running, okay, we have our machine or virtual machine running on AWS, even though a new one is created, okay, it will be ignored, okay. Our server will not be destroyed and it will not be terminated, which means we cannot lose our database. That was the first step I took, okay. But even then, it's not enough because sometimes a machine can terminate or destroy itself, or anything can happen, okay, for any reason. Or maybe you or I go to AWS and accidentally terminate it, okay. That would mean we lose everything, okay. So I couldn't depend on only this, okay. So I had to migrate to an external database. So that external database is this one here, okay, the Neon database. And connecting to it is very simple, okay. Simply click on this button. I see this button called connection string, okay, or this one called connect. When you click on it, it will give you a connection string, okay. I don't want to click on it right now because if I click on it, it is going to show you the connection string for my database, okay. But please, guys, don't share it, okay. So the first thing you need to do is to create an account, okay? The account on Neon is free. Like you can see, this is my free plan, okay? Create it, okay? And come and use it. You're given what they call 100 CU hours, okay? Which is compute time per month, okay? And you're also given storage of 500 MBs, okay? A network transfer of 500 MBs, okay, which is good for a staging environment, okay. Like you can see right now, I've not used a lot, okay. I've not used a lot. The activity I had was only yesterday, okay. So please make sure you take advantage of this, okay. Do not leave your database in AWS EC2, okay. If you can migrate to AWS RDS, it's the same concept, okay. Please do, but make sure that you have enough money, okay, when you're using AWS RDS. Okay, I ran away from it because of not having money, okay. And as soon as I get paying customers, that is when I am going to migrate to something like AWS RDS. For now, this is going to be good enough for me, okay. Once I see that this is about to get full, I can simply migrate to AWS RDS. So make sure you do the same thing. And another thing I like about Neon is that it is serverless, which means if we have zero traffic, we shall have zero usage, as simply as that. If we go to, like, for example, like the SQL editor, you can use SQL to the tables, okay? You'll see all the tables that we have, okay? For example, if I go to maybe group, okay? You'll see the groups that we have. We have one group called admins. If I go to users, okay? You can see we have 2 user data, okay, in this project. So make sure you switch to it. Okay, it has been a nice monitoring dashboard, which I'm so in love with. Okay, yeah, so make sure you move to an external database. It helps you have separation of concerns. You'll be separating the server from the database. Okay, that is another advantage. Okay, so that if the server crashes, your database does not crash. Okay, external managed, not management, but external managed databases. Okay, like Neon, Superbase, and so on and so forth. Okay, give you automatic replication of your data, giving you redundancy. They also give you backup, okay, and failovers. That is why it's important to use an external database, or important to separate your server or application which is running from the database. And in this project, I did it using a simple connection string. So after you got that connection string like I've showed you, go to your GitHub Actions, okay? I'll assume you guys have been following me step by step, okay? Your database URL, click on this configuration, okay, and paste it here, okay, and click update secret. Okay, in my case, I will not click update secret because I've already done that. Render says I'm in current flight booking application front-end developed in Flutter using anti-gravity free credits. I haven't written one line of code. Wow, that's nice. Yeah, that's the age we are in. If you've been following me on this channel, also for my front end, I used Next.js and I didn't write any line of code. I'm glad you're using Flutter. I used Flutter way back when I was at university to create my final year project. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest project ever, but I used Flutter and I had to write code by hand. Yeah. Wow, I miss the Flutter world. Back then, I used to want to know everything, but I learned the hard way that it's impossible to know everything. But I enjoyed my days in Flutter. Flutter is such an awesome framework. I remember things like, is it stateless widget, stateful widget, okay? Having to create a row and a column, okay? That children property. Wow, Flutter is nice. I don't know what state management tool you guys are using in Flutter, but back then it was a big thing in Flutter. What is the state management tool? Things like MobX, something like Riverpod, so many things. Okay, yeah, but Flutter was nice. And I say stack is I can do front end in a framework. Yeah, trust that's nice. Vue, Flutter, Angular, any framework I can do. Awesome, I love that. Right now, I'm watching Day 26. I want to become a software architecture. Your videos helped me a lot. In YouTube, nobody teach like this. Thank you so much. Wow, I'm really humbled. Really humbled. And just for more good news for you, I will be discussing more about software design, okay, not software design, but system design, okay, and architecture. I am trying to write some notes, okay. I'm a kind of person who likes writing sometimes. Yeah, so I'm writing some notes to prepare a step-by-step explanation of system design, and we shall look at how to design systems and architecture of systems, several systems, okay, in the world. Yeah, so yeah, prepare for that, and I hope you guys will get a chance to enjoy those series along with me. Personally, I want to do it because I want to refresh my knowledge in system design, and one of the best ways to refresh my knowledge and to master system design or anything is by teaching it. That's why I do such things, and I will be doing more in the coming days. I want to talk about system design. I want to go deep into AI engineering. I want to go into DevOps. I swear if I had time, if I would never get tired, trust me, you'd see a lot on this channel. Yeah, but we are limited by getting tired and time, okay, and also work. But yeah, system design is coming up, a lot of it. Thank you. If I need any help, I'll message in LinkedIn. Sure, I'll be waiting for you on LinkedIn. So guys, so make sure you do this, okay? That is if you want to try out an external database, okay? But I wanted to make sure that you know about this, okay? I know many of you are going to watch this after the recording, after the live stream, but please, if you're using this project maybe at school, or you're going to use it like Narenda for the Flutter project or any other project, please, I beg you, use an external database. Number one, it will avoid data loss, because once your EC2 crashes, okay, you have your data saved, okay? You don't lose your data, okay? Another thing is that you have separation of concerns, okay? Your database has been separated from your application server, okay? Application server failing does not mean the database can fail, okay? So they are separated. If they fail, it is independent. But again, these external databases have advantages. They give you things like replication, okay? You can have a database which is responsible for only writing, okay? You can only write to it. And you can have another database which is only responsible for reading, okay? You can only read from them or read from it. That helps you to perform and achieve things like scalability, okay? Then also another advantage, okay, is backups, okay, and failover mechanisms. Very, very important. My only problem is Amadeus not able to create account. I'm not getting API keys. How can I get API key? On Amadeus, first of all, I don't know if you watched a video I talked about in the past, okay? Amadeus will be closing their self-service APIs on July 17th, okay? And they mentioned at some point they're going to stop people from creating an account, okay? Yeah, so they stopped people from creating accounts, okay? But I created a solution to that, okay? If you go to the playlist on this channel, okay, you will see that I've talked about alternatives to Amadeus that you can use, okay? But also I created a mock of the self-service to give you a similar performance to the self-service API, okay? Watch that video, okay? And clone the update, okay? You'll see. Watch that video in the playlist where you have a mock database, okay? You will be able to have a resemblance of the Amadeus self-service API. I hope that explains to you, okay? But yeah, Amadeus has decommissioned their self-service APIs, and they want people to only use their enterprise APIs, okay? Why they have done that, they didn't explain to us, okay? So on July 17th, it will be the end of Amadeus self-service APIs. But those who want to do enterprise APIs, they have a chance. Like now me, I want to take this project to production, okay? I'll be using the enterprise APIs, and I've reached out to them for that. But for you who's doing it as a maybe hobby project, university project, use the mock database I created, okay? How to do that? Check the playlist, okay? You'll see a video where I explain how to do that. It is very simple. It will take you less than 10 minutes to do. Trust me. Narendra, I hope that explains everything. In fact, recently I also moved to I tested something called dufo.com. It's even much easier to integrate than Amadeus, okay? If any of you wants to look into slides, okay, I would suggest you look at Dufo, okay? Dufo is very, very good, okay? It's much better, okay? But when you sign up, there's a caveat, okay? For me, and maybe many of you, okay? If you look at the country of incorporation, okay? the country of incorporation here. Okay, you see there are so many countries, but for some reason mine was not there. Okay, I didn't find mine. Okay, so I was left out. So there was no way I would implement the do for APIs. Okay, but if you want, okay, you can maybe accept any here. Maybe say Spain. Okay, and go ahead and sign up. Okay, and create your account. That is if you're going to use it for like maybe a hobby project or learning purposes. Okay, but when you go to production, because you're not in that country, okay, it will be hard for you to move to production. But for development, staging, it will work. So for me, I was actually going to move to Dufo. It's a very good and much easier than Amadeus. Trust me, much easier, much easier than Amadeus. But because of this country of incorporation challenge, I was not able to move to it. So I'm going to stick to Amadeus Enterprise, okay, and move to production. In fact, I apply to them. Yes, Narendra, there's no India. But just for testing purposes, you can choose any country here, okay, and sign up, and it will work. If this is something you're doing for learning, or to be on your resume, to get a job, or to just, okay, a project that you want to showcase that you've done something, okay. But for me, I want to take mine to the market. So I did not use this, okay. The other one, which is available, okay, is this one here called Travelport. Okay, let me load it. Travelport is available, okay, even in my country, okay. But when I looked at the experience, it looked a little bit rough, okay. So I ignored it, okay. So this is Travelport, okay. This one is, I think, is available in every country, if I'm not mistaken. If you go to the sign up, I click sign up, I don't expect to see any major restriction, okay. Yeah, so with Travelport, they also have APIs that you can get started with. If I come here, you see, you also have to sign up, you enter your work email, etc. Okay, and continue. So yeah, that's the current state, but look for that sequence and watch and see my solution to Amadeus. Thank you for watching. I hope everybody appreciates why we need an external database, okay, and that you understand the importance of separating your application server from your database and the benefits that come along with it. So bye for now and have a very, very good day or Sunday. Okay. This side is a Sunday. I don't know what it is in other places in the world, but I guess it's mainly a Sunday for everybody. For most people, not everybody, but most people in the world. So bye for now. Thank you for watching. Narendra, love to you in India and success to everybody watching from India. Yeah, and yeah, all the best, all the best. Keep grinding, and yeah. So like from time to time, in case there's something important I think I should share concerning this project, I will. Many times I've told myself I'm done with this project, but then I think about a concept and I feel guilty that if I don't share it, people who have been following this project build will encounter issues in the real world that I have not shared with them, and then their blood will be on my hands. It's a funny thing to think about, okay? But many times that comes to my mind, yeah. But this is something that I thought is very, very important. All right. Bye for now, guys. Thank you, Narendra, for being an active participant. And let's meet in the next video or live stream. All the best.